All right, we are live on the Reese Report. I'm the mouth of the North, Andrew Reese. I'm joined by Jose Carlos Gomes and Gilbey Santos. As you can see by our records, it is week 15, and this is the closest we have ever been in our entire history of the show, which has been 4 years. One game separates us all. Gil has a one-game lead over myself and Jose. We have 4 weeks left in the season. Anything can happen, but the NFL has been crazy this year. We've seen teams that are normally at the top go down, and we've seen some surprise teams come up. We have a lot to talk about. Uh, Lots of great stuff that's happened in the NFL this season, and we'll do perhaps a little bonus at the end. We'll see if we have time. But I really want to talk about these games and what happened last week. Fellas, how's everything? Everything good?
Yep, everything's
Fantastic.
great.
All right. We have a lot to talk about, so let's not waste any time. Um, so we're going to start with the Indianapolis Colts. Now, Barbosa is not with us today. Unfortunately, he had to go coach, which is something that I wonder if he's thinking about with what happened with his team this week. So Daniel Jones, who was playing on a broken leg, tore his Achilles, and I was watching this game live and knew right away. When as soon as he went down, I knew that he had torn his Achilles. You can always tell when it happens by the way the player goes down and then the reaction afterwards. Um, the problem for Indy, though, despite their awesome owner that Gil and I have spoken about, they don't have a quarterback on the roster. Anthony Richardson is out, still out with an orbital bone fracture, and I've never heard of the guy that played on the field last week. I don't know who he is, and so in desperation, the Colts went to go find 44-year-old Philip Rivers off the couch and put him on the practice roster, and they're talking about starting him this week, possibly right off the couch. Now, the last time this happened was Joe Flacco, who did a good job and got the Browns into the playoffs. And before that, Vinny Testaverde, I believe, did the same thing for the Jets or the Dolphins when he came back off the couch and helped them get into the playoffs. So this can work, but my God, Philip Rivers has been home for a long time, has a lot of kids at home. Jose, this reeks of desperation. They also contacted, by the way, Andrew Luck, who's been retired for at least 5 years, and Ryan. My guess is they said no, or Philip Rivers couldn't wait to get off his couch. Jose, we talked earlier about the Sauce Gardner trade, which looks like an absolute disaster now. I said at the time they gave up a lot. Sauce Gardner's hurt, and Daniel Jones has an Achilles injury. What a disaster this has become, and now they're calling Philip Rivers. What are your thoughts on this move?
My thoughts is you should have never have put Tony Barbosa on the show. He gave him the bad luck and jinxed his whole team. When he was not on the show, they were undefeated. He started coming on the show, they started losing. Now these all with their quarterback. Anyways, on a serious note, listen, I feel sorry for him, man. Like it's Achilles injury is not nothing to be laugh about it. Right? It's a serious injury. But you know, getting Philip Rivers is not the solution. I think they could have got some other players from off of the practice squads from other teams. Um, Listen, even if you wanted to, I know everybody think, but you could have got a Colin Kaepernick. The guy's been out of the NFL for the longest time. I know everybody hates him because he was protest against the national anthem, but listen, I think he's a better option than Philip Rivers, man. I think he was too tired of being at home with all these 20,000 kids that he has. So the first
Yeah.
call that he took, that they got, they called him. He's like, "Oh yeah, yeah, get me out of here, but I'm already sick and tired of this retirement shit." No, but it's not a good move. I don't think it's the best move for them. They
No.
had other options, and their backup Leonard is the quarterback for Notre Dame last year. He's a rookie. They got him. They
Ah.
drafted him like in the
Okay.
fifth or
Okay.
sixth
Thank
round.
you for that.
But
Yeah.
yeah,
Well,
and
they
me
don't
saying
sound
that,
too confident in him, Joe. If they're calling Rivers,
what do you expect? Like, well, regardless, you still gotta get another quarterback to play back him up just in case he gets injured or not. But I guess they don't have confidence in him. He's a rookie and stuff like that.
yeah.
And It is what it is. So, but there was way better options than getting. You could have got Joe Flacco off of the Bengals if you wanted to. Like if you, but I guess Philip River knows the house. He knows the system. He knows the team well. He played there a couple of years or 1 year or 2 years or whatever. He played there, so it is what it is.
Yeah.
But don't expect
Well,
nothing from
the
that
issue,
team.
no, the issue with Joe Flacco is they would have to trade for him, and the trade deadline has since passed.
Yeah,
And
but they could
so,
have the Bengals could release him. They don't need him. It's not like
no, but
they need
they're
him.
not going to do the Colts any favors.
Yeah, but it's not like they. What is he? Not, he's not even the backup. I don't think he's there. I think there's the third stringer just in case somebody gets hurt in the Bengals now. I think it's
Oh,
Burrow and Browning now, or whatever it is.
right. Got you. Got you.
So
Yeah.
it's not even he's not even like the backup quarterback on the team.
Yeah.
So it's not like you're paying a guy so much millions of dollars to be sitting on your bench or with the clipboard. So
Yeah. Gil, what a disaster. You picked the Colts last week. Obviously, before he got hurt, they were still in the game. It was 10-10, I think, at the time. What do you think of this disaster move over here?
Oh, that's what it was. It was 10-10. They still had a chance.
Yeah.
So obviously, as soon as I seen the injury, I knew that was down, and they're going to be in trouble the rest of the year. So,
Yeah.
Philip Rivers, I don't know, man. Philip Rivers, that's just like when the Bengals got Flacco. He's going to do his best. He looks a little overweight, but
Yeah.
um,
Dad bod.
they're going to rely on the run game now. That's all it is. They got to hope to God Taylor finds holes and wins them games.
Yeah, that's it. So that's kind of where we are with the Colts. I kind of wanted Barbosa here to cry and laugh a little bit, but he couldn't join us. But let's get to more happy news. And I want you guys to really let go on this one because I think this is Gil. We're going to start with you on this one. Shador Sanders, who, despite losing last week, completely outplayed the number one pick, Cam Ward, as predicted by all of us, but especially really emphasized by Gil. Shador Sanders threw for 364 yards last week, had 4 total touchdowns. He was awesome last week. And then the Browns, because they want to lose games, decided to take him out for the 2-point conversion. They lose 31-29. Somehow, because Tony Pollard decided to just show up and destroy the Browns defense, which I never saw coming. But Ward was terrible. Sanders was great. Sanders now has the job for the rest of the year. Gil, I know that you predicted this and you're not surprised, but were you happy to what were you watching when you saw what Sanders did in that game?
He's trying to prove people wrong, right? And I'm glad he did what he did because he showed that Ward's not the guy. They should have picked him, right?
Yeah.
They got to just get people to help him out. Cleveland's just next year they have to help out the kid, and he's gonna do. He's a good scrambler. He can throw. Yes, get a little bit more accurate, but he can throw and get him some help, and he'll do what he has to do. And Cleveland will contend next year.
Yeah, they got Judy and Fannin, who are 2 really nice pieces, and then they have Judkins, who's a really good running back. If they can surprise some people, I think, if they let this kid run with it. And they have 2 first-round picks, I believe, in the first 10 picks next year. So, they have some decisions to make. Jose, obviously, you are not surprised by this either. How impressive was that? Because that was great to see.
I've been saying this at the beginning of the season. They're only going to start winning games and playing good football when he starts. I said that at the beginning of the season, and God, thank God they finally listened and they started him playing him. And look what he's doing. The kid, he can play. The problem is he brings too much hype around him and too much off-field issues. And you know what I mean? Sometimes he's not very focused on what he should do. But if he cuts that shit out, then he just sticks to football. That kid could be one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL because he can throw, he can run, and he can, like you guys were saying, another couple weapons on the outside as a wide receiver, and that Browns team will be dangerous next year. So
why do you think he dropped to the 5th round, and why did it take Stefanski so long to do this, and should he be fired as a result?
Oh, I think at the end of the year he's gone. I think he's been there too many, and the stuff that he's done and the play calling that he's done. I think some of the plays are really stupid. He dropped because of the off field shenanigans and all the stuff that he was doing off the field and with the hype videos and all this stupid shit that he was doing. That's what made him like go down in the draft. It's not because of the talent. The talent he has, he needs better than half of the quarterbacks that got drafted in the first round. But it's just, I think it was just all like the shit that was happening behind the scenes and I suppose like there was reports of like
He wouldn't
the
do
combine
interviews
and
with
stuff
other
like that,
teams.
interviews and stuff, and he was like, I don't care, whatever, like he wasn't, you know what I mean? He wasn't caring about he didn't give a shit about that stuff, right? So, but again, then again, I think because some of it was because of his father too, like too much
Yeah.
shit talking and stuff like that. But whatever. Now he's got his chance, and now he's got to take the ball and roll with it. And like I understand it's the coach playing Gabriel too, and all these guys. You gotta see what you have in Gabriel too. But that you can see that kid, he's nothing special. Like he's like a 2.0. That's what he
Yeah.
is. So, but yeah, now he's got his chance. We got his chance. Now he's playing well. So now just keep going, man, and prove everybody
Gil,
wrong.
yes, Gil, this goes against your original thoughts about quarterbacks who act dumb before the draft, don't go to the combine, but you still believed in this kid despite that. Why did you believe that despite what you think about kids that act like that and don't go to the combine that he's going to be good?
Well, I think the mentality changed in the way where you think you're good, and then you don't go to the combine, but then people doubt you. So it kind of reversed. Now it's like he didn't get drafted in the first round; he get drafted in the second round. I got boycotted. So now it went from I thought I'm good to where I need to go out there and play and prove myself, prove everybody wrong, as opposed to Williams and Ward. They still got picked first overall, so it didn't affect them at all, right? So they still were the cocky. They still are, and they're still both garbage.
Yeah,
And him went from I'm cocky to where I got to prove these people wrong. That's where
yeah,
the difference is.
yeah, yeah. Uh, will does Gil, does Stefanski have to be fired for him to get the job next year, Sanders?
No, I don't think so. He already pretty much gave him the rest of the year. I think this is for them to work into next year to see what he wants and what he
Yeah.
needs, and for them to adapt to each other.
Okay, I love that story. When I was watching that game, I love the fact that he threw it in everyone's face and that everyone's saying now, oh, it was Tennessee. Well, we saw Kyler Murray struggle against Tennessee. So like it's a football game, it's an NFL football game. He plays the Bears this week. We're gonna get to that. That Bears secondary is nothing to write home about. So I'm looking for Sanders to have another great game, but we'll get to that when we get to the picks. So now let's get to the picks. Now that we've had some fun with the games last week. Uh, hey Morty, good to see you. Joseph.
What's up, Chris? What's up,
I
Chris?
should put this up. If I find a way to put this up, he says he's going to smash those cheeks, Jose. So
And he called
yeah.
him a complete loser.
And a complete loser.
Jose, if you click on your phone there and you click on the comments, you'll see what he's writing to you.
Buddy,
Oh my
I don't
God,
I don't
gotta
waste
put
my
this
time
up
with
now.
garbage.
Oh, here we go. And there,
I already
and
wasted my
there's
time on the
Mitchell.
group
There-
chat talking to
Oh, my
garbage.
Happy to have you guys here. We're going to talk about the games now. Good to see you guys. Let's get to the Thursday nighter, which is a hell of a game, and let me tell you why. The goddamn Tampa Bay Bucks lost to New Orleans at home last week, and I'm telling you, Baker looks injured. Now he injured his non-throwing shoulder, but it doesn't feel like he can throw the ball properly off of his left shoulder. And so, I'm concerned about that. We lost Jose. He'll be back, guys. Let me just put him back here. Now Jose's the bird. He's got the bird treatment. Um, Tampa Bay they allowed Tyler Show to run them out of the football field, off their own field. It was embarrassing. They're playing the Atlanta Falcons, who have a really good pass defense. They're at home. They're now tied for the division with the Carolina Panthers, who they play twice to end the season. This is a massive, massive game. However, the reinforcements have come. We are seeing the return of Mike Evans and Jalen McMillan, and I think that's really going to help the Bucs. They're fully healthy for the first time all year, and I think that they beat the Falcons and Kirk Cousins. As I told everyone before, I will not be taking Kirk Cousins or the Falcons the rest of the year as long as he's the quarterback, and this game is no different. The Bucs will beat the Falcons with their guys back, and I expect them to keep their lead in the division for now. Gil, who do you got in this game?
I got the Bucs. Atlanta's slow. Baker Mayfield needs to win. I got the Bucs.
All right, Jose, who do you got?
I'm going to take the Bucs as well. They need the game more than Atlanta does, and with Cousins as quarterback, no Drake London playing this week, they're going to struggle, and so I'm going to take the Bucs.
There's the comments, guys, that you can check out now. So, Jose, I got them on the screen now, buddy. Yeah. All right, guys. Yeah, I see you. I see you. You're all here. I see you. This was the funniest comment right here. There's Jose. They like your cheeks, Jose. They match your 49ers, outfit there. So, what's up, Gilly, and your sister? Wow, Gil. Where's his neck? Oh my god. Okay, these are some great comments, guys. I gotta admit, they're very funny. All right. Right. All right, let's take these down. All right. I mentioned last week that New Orleans gives Tampa Bay a lot of problems, and they did it again. And I didn't expect they'd win the game outright, but they sure as hell did. So we're all on the Bucs. Now let's get to the Washington Commanders, who need to fire their coach. Dan Quinn needs to go. They started Jaden Daniels last week. They got no points at Minnesota. He re-injured his arm. I think Dan Quinn needs to go, and the C-men need a new coach. It's been a disaster of a season for them. They're going to New York to take on the Giants, who I believe are going to be the surprise team in the NFL next year. I think they've got a lot of nice parts if they're healthy. They got a good defense, and Jackson Dart is for real. I got the Giants because he's returning to the field after a bye, and the Commanders are done. Jose, who do you got?
I'm going to take the Commanders. Mariota playing quarterback. I think he'll play well. They got McLaren back too. I think they have more options than the Giants. So I'm going to take the Commanders.
Wow, Jose's on Biden's team, Gil. It's the C-man. Who do you got, Gil?
I'm with the Giants. I think Washington's all banged up. Ertz didn't look good either. Jane Daniels was throwing his helmet. I don't know. They're 3-9 or 3-10. Take the Giants. Yeah. Dart. Let's go for Dart.
Yeah. That was a nasty, nasty injury. Ertz got hit like a helmet right to the knee as he was making a catch and flipped over. It was really, really nasty. So 34-year-old guy getting that injury, that's tough. But best wishes to him. Oh, my God. Now let's go to this disaster. Two disaster teams here. Las Vegas, who is starting Kenny Pickett because they've had enough of Geno Smith's garbage. And they go to Philadelphia to take on the Eagles, who have a disaster on their hands at quarterback right now. Jalen Hurts had 5 turnovers last week, 4 interceptions and a pick. And still the Chargers only beat them 19-16 in overtime. Drop passes. That game cost me the fantasy playoffs, a bye in the fantasy playoffs, because the field goals got Dicker up to 21 points. I'm really angry at the Eagles right now, but they're playing they're playing the Raiders. I mean, if they lose this game, they might as well just forfeit the playoffs and just go home, because you can't lose to the Raiders at home. So I've got the Eagles, but I think they're a team that's a first round out team right now, the way they look. Jose, who do you got?
Yeah, I got the Eagles too. Vegas, I don't know. Though Kenny Pickett's playing because Geno Smith got hurt last week, so that's why he's playing. But yeah, give me Philly. I think Philly will bounce back from a horrible game that they did against the Chargers.
What Jose says is true, but they should have benched Geno Smith 5 weeks ago without injury. Jose, Gil, who do you got?
Yeah, there's no discussion on this. Take Philly.
No,
Crosby will give him some pressure here and there, but
no, there's no discussion.
and Philly needs a bounce back game. They've been playing really horrible. And I know there's guys on their
Yeah,
fantasy
no
team
kidding. Wow.
that need Hurts and Barkley.
Oh man, Barkley did have a good game last week. Well, he had one big play they did a tush push and faked it and he got a 60-yard touchdown out of it. But other than that, yeah, Barkley has had the Madden jinx all over him this year.
Well,
Now
Jose's
let's get to a game that I'm going to want to watch.
Jose's picking Philly, but he needs Jalen Hurts to have a bad game. His fantasy partner there, Chris, has Hurts.
Yes. Hurts could not have played any worse last week. I can't imagine that would happen again, but maybe Max Crosby will make him throw another couple of picks. To a game that I'm going to be watching at 1 o'clock and I'm going to really look forward to as the Cleveland Browns go to Chicago to take on the Bears. The Bears defense is nothing to write home about. Caleb Williams, who I'm going to talk to Gil about right now, has been average at best. That first half he played against your Packers, Gil, is one of the worst first halves I've ever seen a quarterback play. He was so bad in that first half that I thought he should have been benched for whoever they have on the bench because he was that bad. Now he rebounded in the second half, but the Packers still won and won impressively as Jordan Love continues to play better. In the last few weeks against his own division. First of all, Gil, what were your thoughts on that game? I thought it was an impressive win, but Caleb Williams is terrible. I'm sorry, I just don't believe in the guy. That pick at the end was bad too.
Well, I've said it since the beginning, and good because it's on Chicago, so that's better for me as a Packer fan. And the Packers put them back in their place. And I'm going to take Cleveland again because Chicago is a choke job team. So last year they did the same. They're like 4-0, and then they lost 10 straight. So this is their losing streak is right now. They're going to start losing.
Yeah, I am also taking the Browns. I think the Browns defense is going to get to Caleb Williams. Now, my only concern is the running game because Pollard ripped them apart last week, and if those two running backs get going, then they're in trouble. Because I don't know how this team is 9-4. The only thing I can come up with is the running backs are really good. But I'm going to go with the Browns. I think Sanders has a big day. I think Jukins has a big day. I think that defense steps up, and I think the Bears are going down. This is an upset. I got the Browns. The Bears are going to choke. I completely agree with Gil. The Packers have the division lead as a result of the tie, and I think Green Bay goes on to win the division like I predicted all season. And I'm taking the Browns, and then Detroit tries to catch them because of that loss. Jose, who do you got?
Give me the Bears. You guys not bashing the team
reason?
like they got a good team. They can run the ball on them, and they'll even last week as bad as they played, they only lost on the last minute touchdown by Green Bay in Lambeau Field. I think they have a better team than the Cleveland Browns, so I'm picking the Bears.
The Bears have 2 wins this year by 1 point.
Didn't you say? Didn't you say?
Raiders.
Hold on. Didn't you say that you were gonna always pick Cleveland as soon as Sanders started? Now you're gonna contradict yourself.
I'm gonna contradict myself. No, I'm gonna tell them I think Chicago's a better team than Cleveland.
But you said as soon as Sanders plays, they're winning all. They're gonna pick Sanders all the time.
No, I did not say that.
Yes,
Go back to the shows. I said I'll pick the Browns when Shedeur Sanders starts playing as quarterback. That doesn't mean I'm going to take him every single week. Doesn't mean I have to take him every single time they play. I can pick whoever the hell I want. It's a free country, isn't it? or is this a democracy now that you're gonna pick
No, I'm just
the
saying.
Browns?
I heard you
Okay.
say you were gonna do that, so I don't know.
You and like the same thing with you. You always go against the Packers when I pick against the Packers because they're when I pick against them they always lose. And then I don't think so, but whatever. You say so. You contradict yourself too. So I don't know what the fuck you're talking about.
That's fine. That's
Okay.
fine.
All right. All right. Fired up for that game. I'm looking forward to that one. Speaking of games that are important, the Baltimore Ravens, who suck. I'm sorry to say, they suck. And Lamar Jackson sucks this year. Their defense sucks this year. They're a bad team. I'm going to say it. They're a bad team. However, they're playing a team that might be worse, and that's the Bengals, who have a quarterback who gave away games to the Bills with two of the worst passes I've seen in my life. One was a floater right into the defender's hands for a touchdown, and the next play, a bad pass that got intercepted led directly to two touchdowns for the Bills. Um, both these teams are bad. One of them has a chance to win the division still amazingly, despite being 6-7 and losing at home to the pathetic Steelers and Aaron Rodgers with a broken hand. Having said that, there's no way Cincinnati's sweeping this series, so I'm going to take Baltimore to win this game in Cincinnati. I've watched Cincinnati lose to the Jets at home this year, so like their defense is terrible. They just lost their best defensive player for the season. So if Baltimore's going to snap out of it, it better be in this game. Because if it ain't, John Harbaugh's going to get fired. Gil, who do you got?
I don't know. I was there last time, and it was a great game. And I don't know. I think Burrows is back with Chase there, but Baltimore doesn't need to win. But if Cincy wins this game, they're back in it. They're back in it. So you know what?
Amazingly, they are.
I'm gonna take Cincy. I'm gonna take Cincy at home. I think Cincy might win. My boy there, Mitch, there helped me make that pick.
Yeah. Wow. Okay, he's not leaving the live. Come on now. Jose not leaving the live, guys. Come on. All right. Jose, who do you got?
I'm gonna take Baltimore. Lamar showed up a little bit last game. He can more of the rushing, and maybe he's getting a little bit more healthier now. The Baltimore Ravens need this game more than Cincinnati. Even if Cincinnati wins, they gotta basically run win the rest of the games, and then like they need a bunch of games to go their way. So they're basically out of the playoffs. And Baltimore is still in the race for for their conference. So give me Baltimore.
All right, I'm not going to waste too much time in this game. Jacoby Brissett and the Cardinals go to Houston to take on the Texans. The Houston Texans have won 7 in a row. They're now 8-5 after starting the season 1-5. They have the best defense in the league. C.J. Stroud is starting to play well. They've got a good run game. They're a very dangerous team if they make the playoffs. I believe they will make the playoffs. They beat Kansas City last week. They've beaten Buffalo prior to that. They are a team you do not want to see in the playoffs, and they will beat the Arizona Cardinals. Woody Marks and Nico Collins, please, I'm begging you. This is the biggest week of my life for you guys. You got to have huge weeks, and against that Arizona team, there's no excuse. So I got the Texans. Jose?
Yep, give me the Texans. The defense will pull out the win. Their offense is still struggling, but the defense will win the game for them.
That defense is awesome. Gil?
Yeah, obviously the Texans are gonna win.
Bill and Houston are one game apart, and I believe they play each other. So that division and another playoff spot still up for grabs. I think the Colts are in a lot of trouble. If you look at that schedule, which we'll discuss later, they're in a lot of trouble. Let's get to the game of the week. The Buffalo Bills, who found a way. I think they had no business winning that game last week against Cincinnati, but they found a way thanks to Joe Burrow's turnovers and that crazy snow game. They go to New England to take on the Patriots, which is basically a game for the division. The winner of this game is probably going to win the division, although I know New England has a 2-game lead. This is it. The winner of this is going to win the division. I haven't been impressed with the Bills on the road all season. They've had a lot of bad losses to good and bad teams, and I believe that New England, with their good run defense, will stop James Cook and therefore be able to tee off on Josh Allen. And New England wins the game and returns to the Tom Brady old days of winning the AFC East and most likely the first seed, although Denver is right there with them. Gil, who do you got?
Well, we're used to New England always winning these games, but I know how much Jose needs Josh Allen here to come up big for his fantasy there against Chris. Big battle for the fantasy between him and Chris. But New England usually always beats them, so I'm going to throw a curveball, and I think Allen wins this game. So I'm going to take the Buffalo Bills to win the game.
Jose, tough game. What do you got?
I don't know, man. It's the kryptonite of Josh Allen is the Patriots, man. He always struggles against the Patriots.
Well, you need him to do good.
That's okay. I don't need to play. If I doesn't play, then I start somebody else. Don't worry. I got 2 quarterbacks that can play. You know what? I'm gonna take New England. I think New England beats them again and solidifies themselves as the division champ.
That's going to be a great game. Let's go. I'm not going to waste too much time in this game either. Some guy named Cook could be starting for the Jets, and they're going to Jacksonville to take on the Jaguars, who have a good defense. Trevor Lawrence is starting to play better. Their run game is awesome. I got the Jaguars, who are going to continue their run to win the division. I don't know how they're doing it, but they're doing just enough to win these games. So I got the Jags. Jose?
Yeah, give me the Jags, man. The defense is also sneaky good, man. Nobody talks about them, but they're in the top of the league too. Etienne is rushing the ball well. Jacoby Myers was a great pickup for them at the trade deadline. He's turned into their number 1 wide receiver. Yeah, the Jets, they're playing for the draft picks. Yeah, so give me the Jags.
I'm not. Brian Thomas has been the worst wide receiver I've ever taken in fantasy in my life. I'm in the playoffs. I have him, and I'm benching him. That's how little I think of him this season, and how I just that's how bad he is. Gil, who do you got?
It's the Jags. The Jets are all disoriented.
Yeah, I don't even know what the Jets are anymore. These guys are funny. Let's get to another game that's going to be great. As the LA Chargers, who found a way, I don't know how they did it. They found a way to beat the Eagles. They should have beat them by a lot more. Philly basically gave that game away with 4 turnovers, 5 for Hurts total, and they snuck out a 19-16 win. Nothing about this Chargers team impresses me, especially Justin Herbert. He had another bad game last week, but they're finding ways to win. They're probably going to sneak into the playoffs, but I'm not a fan of their team at all. They go to Kansas City to take on the Chiefs, who are 6-7, but somehow still have a chance to make the playoffs. Very little chance because they have no tiebreakers at all. The one tiebreaker they could get is the Chargers, so they have to win this game. But I said that last week, and they lost to the Houston Texans. I don't know who to take in this game. I've gone first the whole time. I'm not going first this time. Gil, who do you got?
Well, I think the Chiefs win, but their playoff hopes are really slim. But they're going to win. They're at home. They got to start doing something after. But they got to fix the team next year. But very slim. They have no tiebreakers. They need a lot of help. But I still think they pull it off at home.
You know, the Chiefs, I hear a lot of people making excuses for Mahomes. Mahomes, yes, there were drop passes last week, but he was awful. He had 3 interceptions, and he was awful. Like, he missed a lot of throws. They're not in sync at all. He's throwing passes behind people. They can't run the football. Their defense is up and down, and Andy Reid has had a terrible year coaching. They need some changes on that team. I'm going to take the Chiefs because I don't think that the Chargers will sweep them, and that's the only reason why. And I don't believe the Chargers are very good, and Herbert's playing hurt. Jose, who do you got?
until KC fixes that offensive line, they're not gonna go anywhere. They need
That's
to
a problem. Big
they
time.
need to fix that offensive line, and then they can go places. I think they have the weapons on the outside with wide receivers and running back. We just don't have the O line to protect Mahomes, and so he can throw down the field and stuff like that. And saying that though, I think KC needs this game if they have any. I said this last week. I took them last week, but whatever. Maybe it's I guess it's a curse like Gil. Every time we take them, they lose. So maybe it's one less team to worry about in the playoffs. So give me KC.
These guys are funny. Uh, yeah, apparently somebody has Mahomes because they want him to throw for 900 yards this week. So yeah, that's somebody has him in fantasy, not me. I benched Mahomes. I benched him. That's how bad he is. I put Jackson Dart in my starting lineup. Fuck Patrick Mahomes and his 9 points that cost me a fucking playoffs bye last week. Let's get to Indianapolis, who we've talked about. We don't know who their quarterback's going to be. The NFL's caught up to the Colts. They've stacked the box. They've stopped Jonathan Taylor, and the Colts have not won a game since Jonathan Taylor has run for under 100 yards the last 3 games. Stop Taylor, you stop the Colts. I don't care if it's 40-year-old Rivers. I don't care if it's Ryan Tannehill, Andrew Luck, or the guy with the broken eye and Anthony Richardson. They are not going to Seattle. My God, that Seattle team and that defense in winning a football game, I don't care who the quarterback is. Seattle wins, and Philip Rivers, if you're smart, take that fat ass of yours and go home and see your kids. Don't come back and play Seattle because it's not going to end well. Gil, who do you got?
Same thing. I like Seattle. Unless Taylor runs all over them without stopping him at all, but I don't really see that happening. Even if it's Rivers, it doesn't matter. It doesn't even matter. But it's going to be Seattle.
Even if this had been Jones, I'd be taking Seattle. Jose, who do you got?
Yeah, same Seattle. I think they're gonna whip their ass, especially with that defense, tough defense, and they have the offense too, man, to put up points too, especially with JSN and Shaheed. So
Yeah, Shaheed finally broke out, had a big game, which he was doing nothing for like 4 weeks there. So he had a big game, so that was good for Seattle. Now let's not waste too much time on this one either, as the Tennessee Titans go to San Francisco to take on the 49ers. This is a huge game for the 49ers. They're coming off a bye. Purdy should be healthier. They've got McCaffrey on rest. And the Titans got their second win and won't get another one the rest of the season. 49ers destroy Cam Ward and the Titans. Tony Pollard, don't bring that running game over here because it ain't going to work in Santa Clara. Jose, who do you got?
yeah, I got the Niners. They still have a chance to finish in the top of in the NFC. If they win out, it's possible. So yeah, give me the Niners.
Gil?
Yeah, easy pick. Cam Ward, no. The Niners defense should be playing great. Niners win.
All right, now let's go to the game of the. This is the best game that we're going to talk about all year, guys. And you want to know why? Because Gil is going to be the most conflicted person in the world picking this game. The Green Bay Packers go to Denver to take on the Broncos and Gil's boy Bo Nix. Gil, I'm not going to say a word. I'm going to let you talk about this game. Tell me what's going to happen and pick the game. Good luck.
I don't know, it's going to be tough. It's going to be a defensive battle. I think the Packers might struggle. I think Denver might struggle. They're both great defenses. This is probably a low-scoring game. But I don't know. I have this feeling that Bo Nix at the end is going to come through and the Packers not be able to breathe because of the climate. I think the altitude might hurt them. It's in Denver. Green Bay's numbers in Denver haven't been great. It's not a good place that they like to go to. So I'm going to take Denver.
Jose, who do you got?
I don't know, man. It's a tough game to pick. I'm gonna take Denver too. I think playing at home, Just based on their, I'm just taking them because they're playing at home. Nothing else. Both
Yeah,
teams are good.
very tough
Defense.
game. Yeah, no, they're excellent defensively. Both struggle on offense sometimes, and both can be excellent on offense. They're very, very similar teams, like almost identical, to be honest. Even the wide receivers are up and down. They're all over the place. So yeah, this is a tough game. I really like how the Packers are playing. Um, Denver's sneaking out their wins. Fuck, I don't know what to take in this game. I think I'm gonna go with Denver at home. I like Gill's explanation of the altitude that could affect Green Bay more than Denver. But yeah, I think this could go either way. But I'm gonna go Denver at home. And we got requests to be on the show for 10 minutes over here. Look at this guy. Anyway, let's make our picks and worry about that after. Maybe we'll let you on more. You will see. Okay. Now let's go to a huge game. The Carolina Panthers, so all of a sudden they're tied for the division lead. He's killing me. Are going to New Orleans to take on the Saints. Now, we're going to go to Jose for this one first because he was the one who was brave enough to take New Orleans to win in Carolina when nobody thought they had a chance. Jose, is New Orleans going to beat Carolina again?
No, Carolina's going to win this.
Yeah, I didn't think so.
And Carolina's going to be in the contention to win the division. So Carolina is going to win.
Yeah,
and last week, hey, going back to your conversation last week about Brian Young,
Yeah.
he threw for 217 yards and 3 touchdowns, just for your information. And you said he didn't do nothing. It was all the run game. But I think that's a pretty good. I think that's a pretty good game for a quarterback. But unless he has to put up 500 yards in your perspective.
He played well. He managed the game well. That's what I said, and he did.
Mm-hmm.
But it was the run game that won the game. And every game they've won this year has been the run game. But we'll see. We'll see if he throws the ball and they struggle with the run and he wins the game. I'll be the first person to say it. That doesn't happen for the Carolina Panthers this year. And if they go to New Orleans and win, it's going to be the run game again. I've got Carolina because their run game with Hubbard and what's his name, the guy from Dallas, there, Dowdle, are going to run all over their defense and they're going to win the game. Unless Young throws a bunch of picks, which I don't think is going to happen. So Carolina will win and keep up with Tampa Bay in the division. Gil, who do you got?
Yeah, same thing. I'm going to take Carolina. I don't think New Orleans doesn't really have nothing to give there. So I'm going to go with Carolina, and they're fighting for the division with Tampa. So I'll go with Carolina.
I still can't believe New Orleans won that game last week. I think they have 2 wins this year, and they're both on the road. I don't get it. Let's get to another. The Detroit Lions go to LA to take on the Rams. This is a massive, massive game. It can have implications for Detroit making the playoffs and LA getting the first seed. If Detroit loses this game, they're going to have a really tough time getting into the playoffs. LA is going for the 1 seed. They, went back to normal and they beat up Arizona last week with the run game. Stafford had another good game, threw a bunch of touchdowns to Puka Nacua. He looks like the favorite for the MVP right now. I still don't trust him in big games, but they are at home to Detroit. Jose, what do you got?
Tough game. I'm only gonna I'm taking LA because the Detroit secondary is weak, and I think Stafford can expose their secondary and their injuries in the secondary, and he's gonna throw the ball around. So I'm gonna take the LA Rams at home.
Yo, what do you got? I think the Rams are gonna go for that number 1 seed. I think Detroit's a little rattled right now. It's going to depend on Gibbs. Their rhythm with Goff hasn't been clicking the last 3 weeks. So I'm with that. I'm going to go with the Rams. They're playing great. Their defense is holding up. Adams and Nacua are playing great. Williams is doing his thing. Stratford is clicking. Why not? Rams.
Yeah, when Detroit has played a good defense here, they've gotten their ass kicked. Green Bay beat them twice. They lost to Minnesota at home. So whenever they played a defense that can rush the quarterback, Jared Goff is not good. If they can't run the ball with Gibbs, usually lose. I think the Rams will beat them because of their defense. So I'm going to take the Rams. The Rams need to keep going too because Seattle's right there with them, and as is San Francisco. You can't lose any games. But that Carolina loss kept everyone alive, so we'll see what happens. Now let's go to Minnesota. J.J. McCarthy comes back. The defense plays great, and they beat up just a terrible Washington team 26-0. They go to Dallas, take on the Cowboys, who still have a chance to make the playoffs. Their defense, once again, on the road fell apart, and Detroit put 44 on them. They're going home. I think they can have a little bit more success against Minnesota, and their playoff lives are on the line. I think Dallas, I assume CeeDee Lamb will play. Even if he doesn't, they have enough to win this game. I think Dallas will outscore Minnesota. Give me the Cowboys. Gil, what do you got?
Yeah, I'm with you. They're at home. They need this game. It's all or nothing. So I think the Cowboys will win.
Jose?
Yeah, give me Dallas in a high-scoring game.
Yeah, should be high scoring. If McCarthy can keep up, we'll see. And finally, on Monday night, the Miami Dolphins, who somehow are still alive for the playoff race because they're 6-7 all of a sudden, go to Pittsburgh to take on the Steelers. The Steelers are now 7-6 and have the division lead. Every game for them is important right now. But even though they won last week, I wasn't blown away by the performance by Pittsburgh. They had a few nice passes to Metcalf, and they snuck out a win against the struggling Ravens team. Pittsburgh struggles against the run, and Miami's secondary is actually quite good against the pass. So I'm going to take the Dolphins for the upset here. Pittsburgh is a team that's inconsistent and doesn't impress me. Miami's won 4 in a row, and I think they can pull an upset here. So I'm going to take the Dolphins, assuming Davon Achane plays in the game, which I believe he will. Gil, who do you think?
I think you're totally wrong. I think the Dolphins are a mess. Their quarterback Tua is playing concussed for 2 years. I have known Miami Dolphin fans that are concussed, like Chris and Mitch. So I'm taking Pittsburgh.
Yes, Jose, who do you got?
I'm going to take Pittsburgh as well. Miami, the teams that they beat are all weak teams in this winning streak. They haven't beat anybody crazy, like any crazy good team. I think Pittsburgh's defense could get to Tua. And Pittsburgh, they need this win to keep pace with their division. So give me Pittsburgh.
All right, you guys are cool. Okay, so that concludes our pick. Oh my God, some of these comments. That concludes our pick portion of the show. Jose, do you have anything to say to the people that are watching this show right now who are just destroying you on the chat here?
I can't see what they're writing, but I can care less. That guy's an idiot and a loser. And you can go fly a kite. Him, Mitch, and his boyfriend, all their boyfriends that are watching the show. I can care less. He just likes to run his mouth, but unlike him, I don't need to put an all-star team, modern team, to beat anybody in fantasy. So it's okay. Don't worry. Let him keep talking. Talk is cheap. That's all I gotta say.
Yeah, there you go. There you go. All right. I'm sure Chris heard that loud and clear. I think we got a little time, guys. Did you want to go over the draw? Because we didn't get a chance to talk about the World Cup draw. We can go over it briefly because obviously we don't know some of the teams that are going to be in. I did want to mention that Canada could play Italy in the first game of the tournament, which would be incredible if Italy manages to qualify, which which is a big if, by the way. We have to beat Northern Ireland, and then we have to go on the road and go to Wales or Bosnia. So there's no guarantees there. But if it does happen, what would this town be like if it's Canada Italy in Game 1?
Well, it'll be a home game. Canada won't be at a home game, that's for sure. That's gonna be all Italy.
Yeah.
Even if it was, it's gonna be an Italian home base, obviously.
Yeah. Jose, what do you think of that group? I think Canada. That's a beatable. I think that's a group they can compete in. What do you think?
It all depends on that game against Qatar. I think that game against Qatar is going to decide the group. Even if they could finish like one of the best third place teams. I think Switzerland gets out of the group. Depends if Italy comes in or not. If Italy comes in, then it's a totally different group. But if it's somebody else, then I can see Canada finishing second place in the group. I think Switzerland has a way better team than them. But then again, they can always play for the tie or something like that, right? So the last game depends if they need it or not.
Well, if Italy goes through, I would say Italy, Switzerland go through.
Yeah, it's going to be tough. But there is if they can beat Qatar, then it gives them a chance to be a third place team. Is Switzerland as good as they are? They still good? Are they still like?
They're tough. They're a tricky team to beat. They're hard.
Yeah.
They play well defensively. They have outside shooters. They're dangerous on the free kicks. They're dangerous.
Yeah. So basically, they have to hope that playoff team is not a difficult one. If it's Italy, they're not going to be. I don't think they can beat Italy, but it depends on how they play. Like Italy, if they have their full squad, they can always be dangerous. But they never really had their full squad. All the entire qualifying. So we'll see. Let's talk briefly about Portugal's group. Portugal's group outside of Colombia is a joke. They should get through very, very easy. The Colombia game will not be a fun game. Colombia is one of the better teams in the tournament. But Uzbekistan and whoever the playoff qualifiers will not be difficult games. What do you guys think of Portugal's group?
Yeah, they probably that Colombia game is going to be determined. It might even go down to goals scored because they'll probably tie Colombia, and they'll go down to the goals. Who gives the Uzbekistan a bigger beating, and the other teams, which I believe is what Congo, Jamaica, or New Caledonia.
Yeah, that's that group.
It might come down to just goals to see who gets first.
Yeah, we're gonna see some like 5-6 nothing, maybe even some 8 or 9 nothing games. Like some of these countries, like I don't know, they
I think they screwed up by adding more teams. They should have just kept it at 32.
Yeah, and not only that, when they did the draw, they allowed the top teams to be in a certain pot, so they wouldn't have to meet each other in the group stage after. So like they made it even more difficult for that to happen.
That's the whole point of FIFA rankings, because you're supposed to, the higher you go, you're supposed to get rewarded with that. That's the whole point of being ranked high. So when you go into these pots, you're diverting the tougher competition, obviously. Just like any sport, right? Yeah. First place 8th, second place 7th, right? You don't see first place second right off the bat, right?
Yeah.
So that's what the FIFA rankings are for. So when they do these pots, the top ranked teams stay in one pot so they don't play each other.
Yeah. So it's unlikely we'll see a Portugal, France, a Germany, France, or anything like that in the first. That's not going to happen. I think we had England and Germany play in the first round a couple of years ago. That's not going to happen either. So you're going to see more even brackets when the teams are dispersed after. So that will be interesting. What do you guys think is the group of death? I know you don't have a view. England's group, is Croatia, Ghana, and Panama. I think the France group is really tricky. You got Senegal and Norway in there. That's not an easy group. Trying to think.
Well, to be honest,
the Japan group is interesting.
You're saying Portugal's group's a joke, but so's Argentina's. Like Argentina, we have a Colombia. They don't even They're playing Algeria's, Jordan's, and Austria. So
Yeah, Argentina has Algeria, Australia, and Jordan. Yeah, that group's a joke. Come on, like I think the U.S. has a beatable group. They got a
U.S.
decent group
is
to play in.
U.S. is a very even division. But if you want to talk about group of death that I see right now, probably England, Croatia, and
Yeah,
Ghana is probably
yeah,
the toughest one.
yeah. That looks like group of death. Jose, any thoughts on the? By the way, that presentation of the whole thing was really like weird. They had Lauren Hill do like a concert beforehand, and with the Fugees, that was weird. And then like it just they had Tom Brady, Wayne Gretzky, and like Shaq out there, and then they had the president who getting like the FIFA Peace Prize. It was just so weird. And then like the stars looked so uncomfortable with the balls and pronouncing the names of the countries. It just felt like so weird watching that whole thing. Jose, any thoughts on the draw and what do you think of the group of death and Portugal's group, that sort of thing? Um,
Group of death to me is the France, Norway, Senegal,
yeah, I
and wherever
agree.
the other team is. Um,
Yeah,
as a Portugal group, they got lucky. They
yeah,
they weren't supposed to get Uzbekistan. They were supposed to get Norway, but I don't know what the fuck happened. I think they screwed up on the thing because Uzbekistan was supposed to go to France's group. I don't know if you noticed that or not, but whatever.
I
It's a,
did. I was like, yeah, that was weird.
and besides that, Portugal should get out of that group first or second. Um, there's a possibility that they can play in the round of 32 England if they finish second place, and England finishes second place here in Toronto. So that's a possibility. Um, as for the stuff that happened, it's just but it's like the FIFA president said. It's a spectacle when it comes to the states. Everything has to be crazy, freaking all these singers and all this garbage. For it's got to be a spectacle. It's got to be a show instead of it being a
Yeah,
draw. Like a TV show, like a movie type of thing.
yeah,
The
it was
word
weird.
for the word for the peace thing was okay, whatever. It's just for him because he's trying to make world peace with all these countries. That's whatever it is, what it is, and that's it. That's pretty much it. As for the
Yeah,
World Cup, the stupid how the games here in Canada and Toronto, there's only like one or two good. Like Croatia is the only good team that's coming here in Germany. There was a possibility of England coming to play here and stuff like that. It's a waste of fucking time and money. And Canada's not even playing here; they're playing in Vancouver.
yeah,
So
that's
stupid.
that Canada Italy game. I don't know if they can change it last second, but if it's Canada Italy, they need to have that game in Toronto. That would be like I don't know if they
It
can
is in
switch the
Toronto.
games or
They
oh, it
can't
is in
switch the
Toronto.
games. Yeah, the first
Oh,
Canada
okay,
game's in Toronto. The other two are in Vancouver.
okay. So Canada Italy, if it happens, it will. That is the first game, so it will be in Toronto, which is going to be an incredible scene if that happens. I guess last question is, will Italy qualify? I didn't really ask you guys that last time. Are they going to qualify?
Ooh,
Italy is Italy going to qualify?
well, they should.
I mean, Northern
Well,
Ireland, they should beat Northern Ireland at
well,
home, but after that, I
I,
don't know.
I see the Northern Ireland. Then they play Bosnia or Wales. That's where it gets
Yeah,
difficult. Tricky games,
on the road. Yeah,
tricky games. But Italy is Italy at the end of the day, so they should win, like Jose said. But I see them passing Northern Ireland. I don't know about that Bosnia Wales game. Could get tricky.
yeah. They lost to Northern Macedonia to miss the World Cup, so
But
I
listen,
nothing would
that
surprise
was
me.
the one. That's the
Um,
once in a lifetime miracle that's gonna happen. They took one shot on net and it went in. Italy had like 31 shots on net and they couldn't score.
I
Like
know.
it's just one of those games that happens. Like it's never gonna probably ever happen again in its life.
Yeah, yeah, it was crazy. So yeah, we wanted to cover that a little bit because I couldn't do the show on Saturday about that. But when we actually find out the completed groups, we'll do a full preview show on that, and then we'll discuss more when the teams have played all their qualifying games, they've played all the playoffs and the friendlies, and we'll see how the teams are. There's obviously going to be injuries and stuff that happens in between that could affect things. So we shall see what happens between now and March. The playoffs are not till March, so a lot of time in between now and then. So that's our show. Remember, stay tuned. The Olympic teams are being announced Christmas Eve, New Year's Eve, and so we will have a show before New Year's Eve picking our Canadian teams. Now, the rink is going to be shorter because somehow they had 7 years to figure it out and made the rink shorter than the actual NHL ice. So that can affect the team you might want to take there because there won't be as much open ice. But I'm sure we'll have all different teams because Miguel and Jose have different views on hockey. So hopefully we'll have different teams. But we will have a show for that, and we will continue to do our NFL shows on a weekly basis, including the playoffs when they start. But for now, I am the mouth of North, Andrew Reese. That is Gilbert Santos and Jose Carlos Gomes. We will see you next week on the Reese Report. All right, guys.